What if the most powerful jet on Earth is no longer up to the job? The president's plane, Air Force One, is iconic, but behind its sleek, patriotic paint job lies a messy truth. The current jets are decades old, the promised replacements delayed for years, and now a luxury 747 gifted by Qatar is suddenly in the mix, raising alarms about security, cost, and ethics. This isn't just about an airplane, it's about global power, politics, and the fragile image of American leadership. So, what's really going on with Air Force One? Let's pull back the curtain. The current Air Force One fleet consists of two heavily modified Boeing 747-200BS, designated VC-25A. These aircraft have served U.S. presidents since 1990, carrying leaders across the globe in times of war, peace, and crisis. While they remain visually iconic and technologically secure, these jets are now over 30 years old, ancient by aviation standards. Maintaining the VC-25s has become a logistical nightmare. Replacement parts are increasingly scarce, and some systems rely on obsolete technology. Keeping them flight-ready requires constant, expensive upkeep. The Air Force has long acknowledged the urgent need for newer, more efficient aircraft. In addition to aging systems, the VC-25As are significantly less fuel efficient than modern jets. Their outdated avionics and environmental systems increase the cost and complexity of every mission. Worse, these aircraft can't be supported by standard Boeing 747 parts anymore, as those lines have long since closed. For the military and aviation experts alike, it's clear the VC-25As are approaching the end of their viable service life. And that brings us to the long-awaited, problem-plagued replacement program, the VC-25B. In 2018, the U.S. Air Force signed a deal with Boeing to build two new presidential aircraft based on the 748 platform, longer, more efficient, and technologically advanced successors to the VC-25As. These new jets, designated VC-25B, are intended to carry the presidency into the 21st century. But what began as a straightforward modernization has turned into a cautionary tale. The VC-25B program originally targeted a delivery date around 2024. That timeline quickly unraveled. Boeing's modifications to convert commercial 747-8s into fortified flying White Houses proved more complex than anticipated. The jets require extensive overhauls, missile defense systems, electromagnetic pulse shielding, secure communications, medical facilities, and even presidential sleeping quarters. The project also became entangled in political optics. Then President Trump famously negotiated the initial deal, vowing to reduce costs and redesign the aircraft's paint scheme. But by 2025, costs had ballooned close to $4 billion, and the aircraft still remained unfinished. Modifications are being carried out at Boeing's facility in San Antonio, but progress has been repeatedly stalled by design revisions, pandemic-related delays, and workforce turnover. Despite these setbacks, the Air Force insists the program remains critical. These aircraft will be essential not just for transportation, but as mobile command centers in a national emergency. With every delay, however, pressure grows. The question is no longer whether America needs new Air Force One jets. It's whether Boeing can deliver them before the old ones break down for good. Despite Boeing's efforts, the VC-25B program has been plagued by delays and mounting technical challenges. The original target, delivery in 2024, has now slipped to at least 2027, with insiders warning it could stretch into 2029. The delays aren't just about red tape, they're rooted in deep engineering problems that have tested even Boeing's most seasoned teams. A 2025 Government Accountability Office GAO report outlined a litany of concerns: structural cracks discovered in key airframe components, decompression vulnerabilities in the modified fuselage, excessive cabin noise levels, and delays in installing secure wiring. Even the presidential staircases, which must operate independently of airports, posed unforeseen design issues. Security protocols have also slowed progress, Many workers required high-level clearances just to handle sensitive modifications, causing staffing bottlenecks. The pandemic further disrupted supply chains, complicating parts sourcing and production schedules. To keep the project alive, the Air Force and Boeing began negotiating in 2025 to simplify or cut certain design requirements. While that could speed up delivery, critics warn it might sacrifice essential features. Some insiders believe that, without these changes, the jets may never enter service before the VC-25s become fully unsustainable. Boeing's reputation has taken a hit, too. Already under fire for delays in other defense programs, the VC-25B drama has become a symbol of overpromising and underdelivering in government contracting. In short, building the world's most secure aircraft is proving far harder and far slower than anyone expected. As delays dragged on, an unexpected twist entered the Air Force One saga. In 2024, Qatar gifted the United States a luxury Boeing 747-8, previously outfitted for VIPs, valued at around $400 million. Soon after, reports surfaced that the aircraft might be retrofitted for temporary presidential use, potentially as a stopgap until the VC-25Bs are ready. That move sparked immediate controversy. First, there are security concerns. While the Qatar jet is modern and opulent, it lacks the hardened features required for presidential missions: encrypted communications, anti-missile defenses, EMP shielding, and an aerial refueling system. Retrofitting those into a commercial airframe is no small task, and estimates suggest it could cost upwards of $1 billion. Then there's the ethical firestorm. The aircraft was reportedly intended for use by former President Donald Trump, reviving questions about favoritism, emoluments, and blurred lines between personal benefit and state resources. Critics argue that accepting a foreign gift of this scale and investing public funds into its militarization sets a troubling precedent. Politically, the Qatar jet has become a lightning rod. Some lawmakers call it a smart temporary solution. Others see it as a diplomatic liability and a national security risk. Defense experts remain divided, with many doubting the jet could ever match the security or resilience of a purpose-built VC-25B. Whether this aircraft actually flies as Air Force One remains uncertain. But one thing's clear: what was meant as a quick fix has instead become another layer of complexity in an already tangled transition. As costs around Air Force One spiraled, the Pentagon made a surprising financial maneuver. It redirected leftover funds from the Sentinel ICBM program, America's next-generation nuclear missile system, toward retrofitting the Qatar 747. The Air Force claimed this wouldn't impact missile development, but the optics were unmistakable: nuclear deterrence dollars being funneled into a luxury plane. This sparked intense debate in Congress. Critics blasted the move as reckless, arguing that no foreign-donated aircraft should consume such resources, especially when the official VC-25B program is already years behind and billions over budget. Supporters countered that the Air Force needed a reliable interim option, and fast. At the heart of the debate lies a fundamental question: how much should the U.S. spend to ensure the president can travel safely, securely, and symbolically? For decades, Air Force One has served as a flying representation of American strength. But with rising costs, political controversy, and strategic trade-offs, some now question whether the prestige is worth the price. The Biden administration has walked a tightrope, defending the necessity of modern presidential aircraft while distancing itself from the drama surrounding the Qatar jet. As of mid-2025, funding for both the retrofit and the VC-25B program continues, albeit under growing scrutiny. Looking ahead, the path remains uncertain. Boeing is now racing to finalize a revised VC-25B design, stripped of some non-essential features, aiming for a first delivery by late 2027. The second jet could follow by 2029, assuming no new setbacks. Meanwhile, the Qatar jet retrofit is expected to wrap up in late 2026, potentially putting it into service sooner. Still, skepticism lingers. Will the Qatar plane meet military standards? Will the VC-25Bs arrive in time? For now, the presidency may be left flying a patchwork solution, one that reflects the broader turbulence in defense procurement and American politics alike. The story of Air Force One is no longer just about an airplane. It's about uncertainty, politics, and priorities. The aging VC-25s are nearing retirement, but their replacements, the VC-25Bs, remain stuck in development limbo. Boeing faces engineering hurdles and credibility issues, while the surprise arrival of a Qatari luxury jet adds fuel to the fire. With billions spent and years of delays, the U.S. is left juggling aging aircraft, incomplete upgrades, and controversial stopgaps. Whether this ends in a sleek new jet or another scandal, one thing is clear. The skies above the presidency have never been more complicated. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into aviation and politics, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the Qatar jet ever be used as Air Force One? Let's talk about it.